and welcome to Stylish Chats with Creatives. Today on the podcast, I have Jordan Magill. Hey, Jordan.
Hi, guys.
You all right?
Yeah, not so bad, thank you. Just easing into January. It's been a bit quiet, but I've been just been messing about on my kayak for a bit. But yeah, things are good.
Nice. I'll just fill people in. Me and Jordan know each other because we've worked together for many years now.
Long time now, yeah. I think like 6 or 7 years, surely.
Yeah. I feel like it's like that.
Maybe
that
longer.
long.
I don't know, but a long time.
Oh, a long time. Not quite a decade, but we're close. And Jordan's a photographer, and you're a freelancer. And I know that you shoot. You've got a little home studio as well, and shoot little independent brands and stuff there as well. So, have you been busy with that, or have you been more busy with going into studios?
Well, recently, it's like the past 5 months, it's been more like my own clients, which is kind of what I've been trying to go for, to be honest. But yeah, it's been good. It's just getting new clients in, and then ones that with enough regular work. But yeah, it's good. So I've got as I say, it's been a bit of a quiet start to the year, but now next week it's already picking up. I'm shooting a lookbook next week, which is going to be really fun. So I'm going to go look for some bits for that tomorrow as well when I'm out, which will be interesting. But yeah, so recently I'd say more of my own clients. But yeah, I've been doing the studio stuff for a long time, but I'm just trying to branch out. And then it's smaller brands, but it's also finding it's like the right kind of brand, because I've tried to go for all levels, and if you go sort of too small scale of business, they don't really have the budget for photography. So it's just finding the right kind of clients at this level. Yeah.
It's finding that mid-range client that's got the budget to shoot, for like a shooting budget, who is regular enough, like once a month, once every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That you can then just build on, isn't it?
Yeah, luckily I've got one guy who drops off stuff every like 2 weeks, which is really regular work. But I mean, I think I'm on I only know the number because I've literally just done the session shoot, but I think it's like the 44th shoot I've done for him. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? But he started off first time he brought like a t-shirt, a couple of products, and now he's bringing bags full, which is good because obviously it's working for him. He's selling loads. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's good. That's good that he's like, you can see the improvement that your photography has made to that business. Yeah, totally. That's really cool.
Yeah, totally. One day his friend turned around and was like, I think you're going to have to look at getting some prop, because he started to get like a bit of traction, and his mate was just like, I think you're going to have to look at getting like someone who knows what they're doing with the photos, because his are all right. I won't say they're all right. I mean, it's like chalk and cheese between what a photographer can do, but that's, he's a fashion designer. He makes really nice garments, but obviously he needs someone to show the quality of them garments. So yeah, it works really well though. He just drops bags of stuff off in my shed every now and then, so it's decent.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I suppose when you're working in your own home studio, it's a bit more chilled than you can do stuff at your own pace. You've not got someone screaming down your neck being like, I need those 50 things done now. It's
almost too chill sometimes. Like I have noticed that, like today, I mean, I had to get stuff done for today, so I actively, I was like, I really need to get cracking. But if I've got like a couple of days and it's only like a 1 day shoot, I'll just be like, I'll just edit these tomorrow. But it's because it's, but in that time I should be using that time to market and find new clients. But I'm just like, I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'll just edit them then and take my time. But no, I shouldn't. It's like the wrong work ethic when you're your own sort of studio manager. I know people can't see the inverted commas there, but
yeah. But I think all creatives are slight procrastinators as well.
Yeah.
And like, I'm definitely the same, but it's finding that balance of having a productive rest.
Yes.
Because you wear so many hats as a self-employed person. You've got to be your own social media marketing.
Yes,
you've
all
got to
sorts
be your
of
own
jobs.
HR, accountant and everything else, then also go to work.
Yeah.
You're allowed a day off.
Yeah, that's it. And that Becky, my wife Becky, does remind me about that a lot. She's like, it's all good to chill. But recently, I actually spoke to a woman, and she was telling me that she struggles with the sort of being productive all the time thing, and she was sort of saying that having the downtime makes you more productive. So that is a productive thing to do, which is a bit of a game changer. So I do rest a bit more, knowing that I'll be more productive having rested.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the same time, the thing is, if I've got back-to-back stuff all week, I work really fast and efficiently. But if I've got like 3 days to do one shoot, and it's a 1 day shoot, it's like, I've got YouTube on, I'm just taking my time, which is fine. It's no, but I mean, the bottom line is, I should be doing it quicker to do more marketing and stuff. But yeah, obviously rest is also very important.
Yeah, I think I've recently learned that as well. Like, it's okay to work 3 or 4 days a week. It's fine, because you've also then got to do all your invoicing, all your marketing and everything else, and that's technically a day's work anyway.
Yeah, totally.
So it is, it is good to have that bit of a rest.
Well, I do kind of have, actually. I do actually schedule 1 day a week as a marketing day. So, I still take bookings on that day, obviously, but I do sort of set it in my calendar as like every Monday is marketing day, because obviously if I could not work Mondays, that's great. But obviously if I just do all my, my admin, write some copy, send off some emails, do all the technical stuff, anything that's not photography, I do on a Monday basically. But I'll obviously still take work on that day. Because cash is king.
Yeah, cash is always king. We always say this. So when we try and arrange a test shoot together, it takes us 6 months because
literally
because cash is king.
Yes,
it always comes in, and then me and you go, let's do a test shoot, and then we're like, oh, can we rearrange?
Happens eventually.
Times before we get in it. Yeah, it's always the way though, isn't it?
It's also, what do we used to call it, like test magic, where it's like, we'll just book a test shooting because we know we'll end up getting booked, and it did used to work that. Yeah, it was almost that reverse psychology. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we'll schedule it out knowing that something else will come in on that day.
Yeah, it's dead funny. But no, you're so right. You do need to rest and like do stuff that you enjoy as well.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking earlier about how doing stuff that you enjoy is part of it. And like, I don't know quite where I'm going with this, but when I first talked to you about starting the podcast, you were like, well, why don't you just get on with it?
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect straight off the bat, which I think I've taken on as that it's something that I really enjoy. So why not just give it a bash and see what happens? And I think that kind of attitude relaxes you a bit, and then actually you're more creative because you're less tense thinking, oh my God, this has got to be perfect.
Yeah, totally.
And actually, stuff flows a bit easier when you're less highly strung, I guess.
I totally agree with you. And I've noticed it, the creative industry, we always aim for perfection because that's kind of in the job title, but we're the only industry that aims for that, whereas other people will put out courses, videos, lectures, and there'll be issues with audio, but they don't care because they get the message across. And if the person you're talking to is interested enough, they'll listen through slight audio issues and little bits of imperfection. But yeah, perfection is it's almost not attainable anyway. So there's no point in trying to aim for it because it is a bit of a. And also, you won't start something if you think you have to get it perfect. Like, if you just go for it and you're willing to make mistakes and, look a fool sometimes, it's fine, you only learn from doing stuff.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, like, well, as well, I trip over shit all the time. And, like, it's, life is full of, like, little things like that. And actually, they're what makes life a bit funny, aren't they?
Yeah, totally. And if everything was perfect, it'd be boring.
Oh, yeah, it'd be so boring. But I do think we, in our industry as well, we try and push ourselves so much that we do get more burnt out.
Yes. Yeah, totally. It's because it's one of them jobs as well. It's physical and you're always concentrated on something, which I know is not unique to this job at all, but it's a bit of both. You're on your feet all day, you're moving stuff, shooting and styling. You're all moving equipment around, you're all doing stuff like that, so it is strenuous. So burnout happens pretty quick, and especially when you're trying to force yourself to be creative, that's almost like the worst thing you can do because it just sort of blocks it.
Yeah, because you're just knackered from, like you say, just day-to-day styling or studio, like, photography and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
it does get, but that's why it's important to take the time off, which is why I've been sort of, because January was a bit quiet, I was trying to get out of the house more and do stuff when I was like, which is weird when you've not got a lot on, but I was like, in my head, I'm like, well, I know there's nothing I can do. Well, there probably is. I know there's not a lot I can do to get work, say the next 2 days. So I'll just go out and enjoy my time while it's quiet, and then I know for a fact when it is busy, I'll have been glad for the downtime.
Yeah, it's that weird cycle, isn't it? Because we all have it, and then we don't really talk about it. Where we're like, oh my God, I'm shitting my pants because it's gone quiet. Did I fart on set last time? Did it really smell? Did people not booking me because like I said something wrong, or I made a funny a joke that wasn't funny, and it's just the case that like in January, February, people's budgets are less. They just don't have the work on. The Christmas rush has stopped.
Everyone's just getting back into the swing of things, aren't they? Because it's always, a couple of weeks into January start to get. I mean, already I've got dates in for the next couple of months, but they're like random weeks that studios have booked with me. But that first bit of January, it is quiet where everyone's just getting like the ducks in a row and stuff. But yeah, it's one of them, innit? Like I think everyone kind of expects it. I mean, like 2 years ago when COVID were there, January was like insanely busy because there was so much backlog of products and stuff to be shot. So but I think which is probably like more of a shock for everybody why it's so quiet now because everyone's like, what's going on? But no, I've heard from a lot of other people like it's pretty slow at the moment, but yeah, it's picking up. But like I say, I'm sort of done worrying about stuff like that because something will come in anyway. And then also when you do worry about it, something comes in anyway. So you're like, there's no point. I should have just enjoyed the time I had instead of stressing about when the next one will come in. But it always does.
Yeah, I think as well that's down to experience as well because
totally.
I only stopped like worrying a couple of years ago, probably like just before COVID happened, and before I'd be like fretting, and Nath would be like, "Chill out, something will come up."
Yeah,
and something always did, but I was just wasting my time worrying, like like fretting.
That's what I was doing. I think for the first sort of, I did, I think what everyone does in January, redoes the website, rejigs the portfolio, does loads of social media bits, but yeah, it was it's been good. But now, obviously, now the work's picking back up. I'm a bit like it's like today. I've been mad busy today, and then next week I'm doing my lookbook, which will be fun. So that'll take a couple of days up. I need to find some props and stuff like that. But I need to find some driftwood as well. So that's a job for. Nice. I'm on the lake tomorrow, so I'll be keeping my eye out for bits of driftwood.
Oh yeah, talking of you being on the lake, you have launched a TikTok called Half Man Half Boat.
Yeah, it was probably it's really weird. It's just for kayaking, and I literally started it because it was fun. Because before photography, I used to take pictures and bits of video for fun. I think we all did. But obviously, as it becomes a job, you get less and less out with your camera. So I just started it because it was fun to create content with no brief. Just to see what happened. Just there's no brief expectations. It's just for fun. So I started doing that, and then once you hit 1,000 followers, you can go live. So one day when my kayak's got like a little phone mount built into it, so I just turned it on and just went live and started paddling. And then it was really weird. It just sort of took off a little bit, and now it was crazy, like because the scale of people on TikTok is mad. Because by the 6th time I'd come off the water streaming, I'd have over 100,000 viewers in the day, which is insane. It's insane, isn't it?
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's like, at any one time it was around 1,000, 2,000. That was people come and go really quickly on there because there's 1 billion people on it. So the volume's really high. So I think the first time I did it, I came off with like an extra 1,000 followers. And the second time it was like, 2,000, then 4,000. So I'm at 6,000 now, and I reckon after tomorrow I'll be at over 10,000. Like, because that's...
Shit.
I know, it's crazy. And then, obviously on TikTok, people do the little gifting thing, don't they? Where you can, like, buy gifts for people. So they started popping up on the screen. So I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. So I turned on a subscription thing to my account where people could, like, pay 1 month for, like, a $5, and then it all goes back into doing it. And then if you do it, you get a little badge next to your name. And as I was paddling, I started seeing people in the chat with a badge next to the name. And I was like looking at my phone like, no way. So I have like 4 subscribers, which is, it's like 20 quid, which is, peanuts. But what I've said to people is anything that comes through it, I'll just put it back into streaming, we'll go to new places and stuff. But I had people asking me like, when are you next out? And I had one guy, because I stop for coffee so frequently. And because you show people what you do. I have a front camera and a back camera. So people can see where I'm going and people can see me at the same time and I answer questions and stuff, but I always stop for a coffee and I pour it up to the camera. So one guy in the chat was like, can I sponsor you for my coffee brand and start sending you coffee? So so I've got coffee coming this week, and he basically just said, if you I'll give you an affiliate link. If you ever sell it, you get a percentage of it. So I'm going to try it first, because if it's nasty coffee, I won't sell it to people. Because if it's good coffee, I'll more than happily say, link in the description.
Yeah.
But it was just really weird. So I only started doing that because I wanted to get out of the house, because it was like you can only redo your website so many times, and after 4 days you're like, I need to go outside. So I just started doing it, and then it's honestly crazy. So it's just really weird how quickly it escalated to last time I did it, I had over 2,000 people at once, and I was on a semi-frozen canal, so mostly people there probably just to see if I die. But But I was like obviously smashing the ice with my paddle, but it was, you know, it was a little bit sketchy, but it was. I checked it out; it was safe enough, and the canal's only 4 foot on the. You know, you can get off on the side of it anyway. So people were just watching me do that, but I'd been streaming for 4 hours on it, and when I come off the water, it had people like, because I was like chatting to people. The sun had gone down, so people were actually like, "You need to get home. Your wife's bringing the shopping." Because I was chatting to people like, "Oh, I need to get home. My wife's coming." I said I'd be home by 6. I don't think I'm going to make it. So people were like investing in it, and people were tapping the screen, which is how you send likes. But I had 1.1 million likes by the time I got off the water. That's what I mean. People were saying stuff like, "I've never seen this before," and it's only I'm only kayaking. Do you know what I mean? But people like message in the chat saying this is so relaxing, and like when do you do this? And so I built up a little following of people who just like. But also, what's really cool is a couple of people have actually booked onto sessions now to go kayaking from having watched the content, which I think's amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just a bit of a laugh, but. Yeah, it's decent.
I think it's similar to watching those, and don't get offended by this, but watching those like pressure washing videos.
Yeah, it's therapeutic. Like it's relaxing. Yeah. It's like ASMR almost, and I've had a couple of people say that, and because I'm so relaxed when I kayak, it's just dead calming. But people are getting that through the videos, which I think I put people watching me for 3 hours, 2 and 3 hours.
Whoa!
So if I look through my analytics, it says like the average watch time and. There are a couple of people who stick around for like way longer than they almost should. So it's good. It's good though. But I'm just doing it for fun. I actually had one guy ask me to join some agency, but then it started getting a bit like they sort of train you to do it. But I know all that means is to train you to ask for gifts because they make a % off. So I was just like, nah, I'm just doing it for fun, mate. Like it literally just having a good time doing it. So until I get too busy, then I probably won't have time to do it.
And you'll just be like once a month, be like, "Oh, hey guys."
Well, unless I sell enough coffee, then I'll just make that my job.
That's so cool though, because I think the last time I see you, was it just before Christmas?
We did some tests. I think it was. Yeah, it was in last 2 weeks of December or something. Yeah, I still need to edit them by the way. This is about standard for my backlog.
Cash is king.
Cash is king. Indeed.
But yeah, I feel like you were telling me about it there, and I started following you on TikTok. I don't go on it every day, so I kind of lose track.
I've deleted it a few times because it's a time thief. Like honestly,
it's
designed to do that though.
Yeah, I have to put like a timer on it and just be like,
I have a 20-minute thing, and it tells me like you put the phone down.
Yeah, because it can be really addictive. Like you're just like, oh my god, what's happening here? And there's a meme, isn't there, where it's like, I went on TikTok whilst I was on the toilet, and now I'm 17 episodes into EastEnders from 2008 or something. I'm like, this is so true. Yeah, but mine ends up being like dogs or funny animals.
Yeah,
and stuff.
All,
and then
mine's all just mad stuff, and then a lot of outdoor bits. But yeah, it's too easy to just flick through. So I limit my time on it as well, but. Yeah, it is designed to keep you drawn in, which is why I think why people watching me for like 3 hours, like it's fun to do, but I'm a little bit like go outside. Well, the good thing is a couple of people are going outside from having watched it, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. At least you've got a couple of people who actually want to go outside.
Yeah, that's it, and
because
people just ask loads of questions like, "What are you doing? Is it safe? Where are you going?" But yeah, no, I say like it is just a bit of fun at the moment. But the coffee thing was genuinely cool, like free coffee. I was buzzing about that.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it. Next time I come round, I'm going to be like, get me some of that coffee.
I've tried it. Hopefully it's nice. But the guys seem really sound. Like the branding's really nice. But I also dropped. That's one thing I dropped in is I was like, oh man, I'm also a product and advertising photographer. So I jokingly said I'm going to get a hat made with my website on it because if I got 100,000 people going through it. You never know. It's just free advertising for myself, isn't it?
Yeah, and how much is a hat going to cost you? 10 quid?
Yeah, that's it. It's like peanuts, but yeah, it's crazy. It's just that the volume of people on there is pretty mad.
Yeah, huge. I didn't realise quite how many people are on there and stuff. Like it's just my profile's private on there because I got a bit weirded out by it.
Yeah, no, it is. I've had a couple of weird messages just from being on it as well. But yeah, it is a strange place. But it's like it's scary where stuff's going in regards to the content on there, because I put photos on my account and the in comparison to anything moving, just the attention spans of people now, where it's like if nothing moves, just go off it onto the next thing. But so I've been trying to like animate my photo, like putting little animated collages together. They do all right because at least it's moving and it flashes between the next picture really quickly.
Yeah, I do think like I have got the attention span of like now.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same.
And I don't know whether it's because of growing up in the social media. So I'm in that Spice Girls era where I had internet access. I grew up without internet when I was really little, and then we got internet, and then it went into phones. So I'm like, oh, flick through stuff, and I'm very similar. Like, if something doesn't catch me in the first like 10 seconds, I'm gone.
It's
and I think that's quite sad, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is bad. But it's also it's bad for your head as well. I mean, there's something called context switching, and it's never really happened in like history before, where you go from watching something funny to watching something sad to watching something extreme to watching something, and you're constantly going like, you know, if I'm playing video games, I'm also watching something on my phone as well. So like it's like noodle brain, you know, attention spans in two different directions, and it's that's apparently only going to get worse with everybody as things get. I don't know what it's going to be like, because I think now they say if you don't catch one in the first 3 seconds, I know you said 10, but they say now on social media it's 3 seconds, like, but that, you know, I always knew it as 10. So if that keeps shrinking down, I don't know, it'd just be flashing lights eventually with a brand logo on it, half a second to get your attention.
How do you find like Instagram now? Because I know a lot of us creatives use it for our portfolio and, you know, flaunting our work and our services. I always feel odd about calling it services, but how do you find it? Because I find that I'm only posting stills because it's rare that I can put up my phone into. I know some stylists put their phone and do a BTS like film, but how do you find it? Are more people swinging more towards your reels and videos?
So I've just started posting. Have you heard that super overused sound where it's like, I'm a photographer and I took this picture? I'm just posting my reels under that audio as a still, because I've seen people post like semi-okay wildlife shots and they get like 74,000 likes, but they've also got a big following. So it's not as easy as just making a photo into a reel. So but yeah, I've actually archived everything on my account and I'm redoing them as reels, because also reels take up more real estate on your screen. So when you post a square, you know, when you post a square image, posting a 4x5 or a reel takes up more of your phone screen. So I know that's a little like advertising trick people use. So that's, do you know what I mean? 'Cause it's more screen real estate. But no, I just do everything as sort of reels now, because I know Instagram is supposed to be going back to photos, but I don't know if that's too late. I don't know if the boat's already sailed with that, because people went there for photos and they tried to copy everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd love it to go back to photos, you know, because I remember back in the day, you used to be able to post an image and you get like 80 new followers and you'd have 100 likes in it in within a couple of hours. So I talked to a couple of people about that, and they said that was always the plan in the early days, to get everybody on the platform, everybody growing. You can start to, you know, make a following for yourself, but then they turn that off to get the advertising money in now, because okay, we've already got, you know, like however many million users, so now let's start charging them for stuff. And I also know if you've got I think if you've got a business account, Instagram deliberately squash everything because they know you've got a budget for advertising, which so I've gone back to a creator account from that, and I noticed more engagements. But I also spoke to one lady who was telling me about blacklisted hashtags.
Oh really?
And I actually I don't know if all this is like, you know, and she knows what she's talking about, but I put like I ran my account for a website, and there was one banned hashtag that came up, and it was Easter, because Easter's such an overly used hashtag that the amount of traffic that goes to it on Instagram, there's so much going to it at any one time. They sort of turn it. I don't know, none of this, you know, anyone who claims to know anything about the algorithms of a social media is lying, but yeah, so certain hashtags, and even small business, like there's a lot of nudity on there, like randomly. So that, you know, that's really kind of a flagged hashtag. So what I recommend to anybody who doesn't get any growth off Instagram is to go back through your old posts and just delete. You know, you put your hashtags as a comment, just bin them off. Yeah. Because I had the girl and I'm talking about, she looked at my stats and she was like, you're only getting like people who already follow you. No one outside of your own followers are seeing your images. I think you've been like shadow banned or used a blacklisted hashtag, which is like squashing your reach. So I deleted them all and I did a post and I had 30 people outside my network after that then see my post. So I think I was sort of, I don't know if any of that's, legit, but it was very coincidental that as soon as I got rid of all these hashtags, I started to get more views and stuff. But that's something to check for, because what they basically, if you want to use like hashtag Easter, you need to put like hashtag Easter23, because it's not as, there's not like 4 million
overloaded
results. Yeah. So I know it's a bit more like niche, but I don't want to start going into hashtags because...
No, but it's really interesting because we all put, I don't know, creative.
Yeah.
You just put stuff that, or like podcast, or I don't know, for me, like still life, or, and it's interesting to see that these hashtags actually need to be a bit more niche.
Yeah, they need to be more refined. And also, I know a lot of people put hashtags for their industry. I also think it's better to put hashtags for the people you're trying to sell to, or people, people who are interested in your stuff. So like for your own podcast, you could even put like, student photographer. You start using student hashtags because they might want to listen to this stuff, to get insight about their careers and stuff. But yeah, it's like, certain I'm already going into hashtags now. So yeah.
Well, it's funny because I actually had a new client and they found me via one of my hashtags on one of my
nice.
stylish Instagrams,
cool.
like my portfolio, and it was something like Leeds stylist or Manchester stylist or something.
Yeah.
And they were searching for it, and then I ended up propping for Kim Joy's cookbook because of that.
Oh wow.
So it's insane how much can come via hashtags, but like you say, that's probably nicher than me just putting stylist, because stylist could be hairdresser or...
Yeah, that's very, very true, actually. And then again, it's regionalised because of the whole Leeds thing. So, but that is interesting. But yeah, it's just changing it up a little bit, but also not doing stuff for your industry specific and doing it for the people who might be looking for you. But in that case, obviously, that's worth a treat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird how, because I ask people, like, especially if it's new clients, like how they found me, because sometimes it's word of mouth, or
I need to do more.
Sometimes it's just asking for a bit of feedback, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the last few have been somebody's found me on Instagram.
Nice,
But I don't post that much work on there. I'm more on my personal one, but. It's more of the dog on the personal one, really. But
but yeah, little Coco.
It's weird, isn't it? How when you ask people like how they found you, and like say like they'll be like, "Oh well, George recommended you," and you're like, "Oh cool," I'll go buy him a pint. But like when it's Instagram, you're like, "Oh shit, what hashtag was it?"
No, it is interesting because I pushed LinkedIn for a long time, because you think obviously. You kind of think the decision makers are more on LinkedIn, but I don't. I've actually found that not to be true. I actually get more off Instagram. I still get bits off LinkedIn, but I get proportionally more off Instagram. But again, it's just fine. It's just getting the inquiries from the right size businesses where it's not too small scale. And that's one thing I think like a lot of people doing this start out. I did especially is where you want to try and save the world and help all the little businesses, but then you realise that. The jaw's going to drop when they hear the quote, and it's like, how much? And it's like, I'm only selling bookmarks and candles. Like, well,
yeah,
you can make a lot of money off candles, but it's a lot of times with some smaller products, the margins are so thin. It's like trying to get a photographer, a team of people in starts to be like, well, I could put all that into ads and get user generated content, which is another scary thing. But
yeah, I think this is it. I think a lot of people see creative businesses and go, oh well, that'll be cheap.
Yeah.
And that we've also had like a lot of like, we only do tests when you feel like it, but there's a lot of people who I know who have been approached to do work for free.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great for your portfolio. It's for a magazine. It'd be great for your portfolio. No, you can't pay a mortgage, can you, with thin air? So no. I think that's quite a used and abused thing in our industry, actually. Yeah. And I think people try and do it too cheap.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's the thing. Some people will do it though, and if they even do a better job than an average person, then it's like they'll be blown away by. Because I see people who've paid like photographers for work, and I'm like, oh, they've been done dirty there. Like, because I thought the person who ran the business has taken it, but no, someone's robbed them. But, just some, like, just some cowboy photographer who's put products in the title. With a lot of them, though, a lot of people do it. They're like, how easy is it? How hard is it to shoot a toaster? But it's very hard to shoot a toaster really well. But that's what a lot of people do, is they just stick product in there. But I also think the people who take it more seriously, or might be looking for investment, they do put more money into it. So there is a mega market for photography as well with the right people. It's just all down to the right clients in the right position and finding those people who, and then the people with super brands and all that aren't normally trolling like social media networks. They're busy.
Yeah. I've definitely had the same thing with LinkedIn. Like, I've had recruiters message me on LinkedIn who recruit for freelancers, but unfortunately that was for a company that I wasn't happy to go to because they don't pay their freelancers on time, which is a big bugbear of mine. Isn't it? It's not bloody hard. If you've got millions of pounds to make a nice studio, pay your people.
Oh, it's our systems, and I'll open your phone, go into your online banking, put the information in and press send.
Oh God, it drives me up the fucking wall.
Yeah.
And I think like for me it's a lack of respect to your skill and your services and the time that you put in.
It really
doing that job.
It really is, and I've actually started charging for pre-production meetings, which it's tricky, but I also know if someone won't pay £100 for me to have an hour-long Zoom call, write a quote down, a plan of action, send it all over, go back and forth with them. Yeah. If they don't pay £100 for the hour, well, that's not really an hour. Obviously, you know as yourself, it takes a good half of the day. But I know if someone's like, oh, I can't get that signed off, then I'm probably not talking to the right person for a start anyway. And if they threat over like £100, it's like it's not make or break £100. So I've started doing that, which some, like you say, some people are like, oh well, I can't justify that, and I'm like, well, fair play, that's fine. Other people do. Yeah,
I've been doing the same, and I've been charging people my worth. Recently.
Yeah.
So like I'm quite open about it. I'm probably not going to say my day rate on.
No, I don't think that's ever a good idea.
I don't think that's wise. But I have put it up because I've thought, well, I'm also an extra year into my career.
Yeah.
And, if the same as you, if people don't want to pay for my skill, then they're not the people that I need to be working with.
And there's always another client. Like there's always there's enough for everybody out there. And there's always people starting businesses, getting capital to invest into the company and stuff, and do the marketing. So and I think also, do you know what makes me laugh a lot is when people are like, oh, I'm talking to another person, and I'm like, well, you're not, because you're talking to me still. Like that one always makes me chuckle, because they're like, oh, I know someone who'll do it for this, so I'm like, go to them then. Like,
yeah, go to them, and when they fall on their face, come back to me, and it'll be an extra £100 a day.
You'll have buy cheap, buy twice, but it is totally a thing.
I definitely as well, if clients are awkward, or it takes a lot to even get on their system, which there is a couple of companies where there was one company actually that as we were moving house, someone asked me to go and style for them, but I needed to go through the system, and they needed more paperwork than what the mortgage company needed. And I said, I'm a freelancer, I want to send you an invoice. It's got my details on it. You don't need my marriage certificate, my passport, my driving licence, and everything else. Like, I was like, this is unnecessary. So when it comes to things like that, I tend to add what I call dickhead tax.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Because if it's somebody who's causing you grief initially, why not tax them for it? Because it causes... Carry on.
Sorry. No, I was saying, because you'll have clients who'll pay some people pay the same day. I have someone who pays me in the same hour after sending the invoice, but that's so they know they've paid me. You know what I mean? So I'll go above and beyond for them, but when someone's like, 60 days overdue and they're making excuses, it's like, oh.
Yeah. I recently had to threatened small claims court with somebody because they owed me 3 days' wages.
Yeah.
And it was already late due to a fuck up on their side of the system.
Not
and
your
they
problem.
went, oh, well, yeah, exactly. And they said, oh, well, we're sorting it. I said, well, sorting it isn't going to pay my mortgage. It's not going to pay my, credit card off. You need to, actually pay me. And also, the money I earn shouldn't be holding up another company's financial pillars.
Yeah.
And, thankfully, by the end of that day, they paid it in the account. But I think it's also, because I do wear so many hats as a freelancer, you then also have to have the bollocks to go, actually, I want paying,
yeah,
and I want it in my account by 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
If not, I'm not coming back to work for you again.
Yeah, you definitely have to set boundaries, and that's the thing. Sometimes when it's like you've got a lot of money outstanding, it's like you're extending a line of credit to a company that you don't financially have any idea about. Like, you're just hoping they'll pay you. No one signed anything. It's all just word of mouth over text. So yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Sometimes, because you also know that happens and people pay you on time all the time. And if there is a mistake and you get an apology email and it's mistakes happen. It's just when it's so big that you have to enter into a system that has its own. Yeah.
It drives me mad. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind doing a supplier form, and I'll happily sling my accountant's email to people when they're doing audits and all sorts of things like that. But when it needs basically a birth certificate,
a blood sample,
it's not necessary. You don't need my urine sample, thanks guys. I just want to come and make some product look pretty, thanks. Yeah,
it should just be. Yeah, it's like you don't leave a restaurant without going, I'll pay you for 30 days. That'll great. You pay as you go out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's something that really pisses me off, to be honest.
Yeah.
And there is I have before said to I was assisting, and the studio manager had booked me on a 6-week block of work, and they owed me a few £1,000, and I went in on it. They were like, "It's coming Friday. It's coming Friday." It didn't come, and then the Monday morning, I drove over there with my laptop, opened it up on my banking thing, and just went to the studio manager. Didn't even say morning. Was just like,
"Where's my money?
do you see the thing that's wrong there?" And he went. I went, "Oh, look, it's missing however many £1,000. And he was like, "Oh shit." And I was like, if it isn't in my account, I can't come back to work. That's it.
Yeah, it's fair though, isn't it? I think that's totally fair. It is tricky sometimes with that, but it's because that's the thing. I think to stop it, it'd have to be a group effort, and then that's never going to happen. Yeah. So
no. The amount of people I know who carry on working even though they've not been paid on time. Oh yeah,
I've had a couple of horror stories where it's such a high amount of money and it's months overdue, and it's if you don't get paid, and it's just a tricky. It's also the uncertainty that's the worst part about it. Is you think, oh, I hope I get paid that, because if I don't, it's just one of them, innit? You have to then scramble to find more work, but. That's what, it is annoying. That's what I mean. Most of the people I work for as well, I should really set out so they know straight away. But because I'm quite once I get to know them and I've had a Zoom call with them all about, I'm like, oh, I'll just pay me when you send when you get the images. But now I get paid on or before delivery of the images. So obviously, I'm just trying to get on it more with sending contracts, which I've been doing more and stuff, getting the contracts over, and because it's one of them, especially after you've been back and forth with a client, you're like. Here's a big bit of paperwork. You almost feel like you don't want to do it, but you need to, because that's the only thing you've got protecting you.
Yeah, and I think we go into it. I definitely went into freelancing quite naive and quite fluffy.
Yeah, same.
I'm quite but I'm brutally honest. Let's face it. But and I do say to people pay me or I'm taking you at small claims court.
Yeah, which is fair, because as soon as you threaten that, they're like, oh, sorry, I'll get sorted right now.
Yeah. But it took years to get the balls to do it.
Yeah, I think it is, like you say, definitely the fluffy thing. I was very, very similar to that when you start out, but yeah, and it's also, I think the more you go on doing it, the more you realise people treat you the way you let them. So as soon as you don't let them do that,
100%.
setting your own rules and boundaries.
Yeah, 100%. And the same, I don't know if you have the same thing as well, but I now don't do stuff on the weekend.
Oh, yeah,
I also have like after 6:30, 7 o'clock, I don't do anything to do with work. And, you know, I have had people say, well, don't you look at the call sheet like after hours? Like, no. You know,
I don't do,
if that call sheet comes in during the day while I'm on another job, I'll have a quick look at it when I've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, cool, that's fine. But if that comes in at like 7:30 at night,
reading it in the morning on the job, I'll stand there with coffee and read it. Like, yeah, totally. Yeah. I'll be brash about it as well, because it's a day rate. It's not a day and yesterday afternoon for a couple of hours rate. So
yeah,
and it's it's just being a bit more kick-ass the more you get on, isn't it, with people, and not like taking excuses, because at the end of the day, it's a bank transfer.
Yeah, and it's a transfer of skill for a transfer of money. That's literally
I like that. Yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah, but it is difficult, I think, as well when you're younger. Like, I've been freelance for nearly a decade, I think, maybe longer.
Longer, I reckon. You must longer, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it might be.
I'm creeping up to a decade. I know you've been doing it longer than me.
Oh God! Oh Christ! It's probably like something stupid, like 15 years or something. But I definitely, like, the older I get, the less I care about what people think about me. Yeah. So therefore, I'm not so worried about going, excuse me, please can you pay me? Yeah,
that's it. And I like to keep things nice and civil and stuff, but yeah, it's just invoices and money, and it's one of them where when it is overdue, and it's you know, you think about it every now and then, it pop into your head, I still need to chase them for that, and it's just dealing with that's a nightmare. Like,
and that's also still work. So this is why sometimes I add that like dickhead tax in inverted commas, because if they don't pay on time and I've constantly got to chase them, that's 3 hours of my time that month that I've got to chase them. So I may as well be getting paid for it.
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's quite. I love being a freelancer, but there is so many hats to it.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's like I just do it for the freedom. Some of the freedom you get from it. Yeah. Like, that's totally why I do it. And I also can't stay in a full-time job for longer than 2 years because I go insane. So I just get terribly bored.
You lasted longer than me. The last full-time job I did, I lasted 12 weeks.
Yeah, it's long enough, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you ever feel a bit kind of penned in? I always felt a bit like a caged bird.
I don't even like working in a single studio for a long period of time. Like,
same. Yeah, same.
You know, after it's got to be a good couple of months. Like, I worked in one place 9 months, and it was again just nice to take a little break from it, because when you go back in, it's you know, you just crack on with it again, don't you? But yeah, I think the penned in thing is that's why I try to get more of my own clients, because it's a bit more freedom, but sometimes too much freedom where. It's like I've been working on something that requires me to sit down and crack on with it a lot, but it's hard to do. So I go out. You know, that's why I was escaping on the kayak, because I was just like, I need to do this thing, and I was like, I can't be bothered. I'll go out and do that because it was more fun.
Yeah.
But no, it's a balance of everything, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Have you been doing much CGI recently?
Yeah, I've been doing bits and bats, but. It's one of them, like, the worst thing with CG is I like to go in with a concept or an idea, because when I have an idea, I can sit there and I can just, you know, in the software for hours and crack on with it. But the worst bit is it's like creative block is when you open the software, it's a blank screen, and I hate opening that and just sitting there and staring at it and thinking I don't actually know what to do. So then I do something, I guess it's crap, I get frustrated with it. But sometimes it actually develops into a project. But what I've said to myself with the CGI is, I need to plan. I tried to say to myself 1 project a week, and that I was doing it. I've not posted a lot of them. They're just because I just want to get them done for my own practice. It's just setting more time to do it and then going in with an idea. But because you have to make the product, texture the product, find the labels, the logos, build the set, it's so much work to do because you're almost not getting paid for it as well. It sounds really bad. Like sometimes it is. I do it as if I would be doing it to a brief, like for a client where, let's try and make this kitchen scene and prop it with stuff and then change the colour of the props out. But then I'm like, this is actually becoming like a project. But I just need to do little projects where they're fun and keep, not again, the perfectionism thing creeps into the CGI because you want it to be perfect. But again, I'd rather get 10 projects done that are imperfect and have learned 10 new techniques than do one perfect project, which will never be perfect. I'll always be annoyed. Like most creatives, you'll always just look at your work and think, oh, I just missed that there. Do you know what I mean? Like loads of people.
Yeah.
And I get it on set sometimes where I'll be shooting and the people are buzzing off what I'm doing, but I'm quite stone-faced just looking at, oh, it's a bit bright that. Do you know what? I'm looking at an area that they don't even know about. And they're like, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, but I do like it. But you know what I mean? You do a lot of work.
Yeah.
There is sometimes where you genuinely think, yeah, I've done a really good job there. That looks ace. But a lot of the time, I'm just looking at a bit where I could have got it better, but obviously budget and time doesn't always allow for it. And nobody else knows it apart from me. It's just me being a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm the same. And sometimes I have to let go and realise that liquefy is my friend.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Because sometimes you'll be styling something and you'll be like, oh, it's not, maybe the product's not quite straight, or, you know, you can't quite get it in shot. And then
it's because they're not made straight.
Yeah,
I realise nothing's made equal, like, unless it's really expensive, like.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, you know, letting go and just being like, well, if we put a note on that, a retoucher or can just quickly liquefy that in, or photographer, or, you know, and I think that's quite learning when to let go. Because you can stand there for hours and fart arse about, but it's not,
sometimes it's literally like, you and me are the only person who's going to know about this, because no one else is looking at this 2% of the image that we're zoomed in on. It's like, just send it. Yeah. It's like sometimes where people fuss over backgrounds and like, we're not selling backgrounds. Don't worry about it. That always makes me chuckle.
It's funny, isn't it, what you pick up on, because everybody's skills so different.
Yeah.
And also working with photographers for a long time, you start to see where they're looking, and then you end up picking on so much, and you're like, Jesus, I need to step away for a minute and come back to it.
I think as well, it's sort of calibrating that per client as well, because some clients need a super attention to detail, and some clients just like, how many things can you shoot in 10 minutes? Yeah. It don't matter if it's straight or even inside out, like, I just need a shot of it. Trying to get away from that stuff though.
Yeah. Didn't you say, I'm sure it was you who had a shot of something, and then it might not have been you, but somebody had a product come to them, and it had a massive cut in the back, and then they had to shoot it and then sent it over to India to be retouched. Was that you? Maybe not. Potentially.
I've sent a lot of damaged products over to India to be retouched, but trying to think of specifically which one, but
that's quite that must be quite hard when you get something that's like, so the product's physically so fucked up, and you have to explain it to somebody else who is retouching it in a different country.
I actually so I've sent messages to retouchers previously where it's all in I can't remember the local language for Bali. I knew it as well because I'd obviously been messaging him in it, so it was just this big, it was like loads of different language and just tiff in the middle of it, which made me laugh. But I had to do that. I had to explain what I want doing in simple concepts, and then convert that, and then just hope it comes back right. So sometimes it comes back and I'm like, why have you sent some earrings off once? And I'm like, take this and drop it on that one, and they'll just delete the other one, and I'm like, because I put a ring around it, but I can kind of see without any clear instruction why they would do that. So I have to then it looks really bad sometimes. I have to send a picture. It's like a red X and a green tick, just so it's visually really easy to understand. But it's different language, different terminologies. I think TIFF is the only word in the TIFF and JPEG are the only word in there that I think I can make out. But yeah, but I try. I do try and do most of my own retouching, but pathing and stuff tedious.
Yeah. It's something that I can quite admire retouchers and people who can retouch, because it boggles my mind. I don't have the patience for it, I think.
Yeah.
And
I don't either, to be honest.
It honestly, it amazes me when people are like, oh, I'll just punch that in, and they get their whack on and they're like, bum, 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 and it's done, and I'm like, what?
It is,
how have you done that?
It is good, but also there is like today I've done it a few times. I'll just fix that later in Photoshop, but then all them little laters add up to a whole lot of laters. So
to a whole day,
a whole day of laters. But it's I never learn when I'm doing it. That's what I mean. Like when I'm doing it on my own in my office and I'm just taking my time with it. But
yeah, that's it. It's fun, just having that motivation, especially when you're on your own. You've not got the studio manager like breathing fire down your neck, being like, I need that image like now.
Well, it's great to have a deadline because one time I had a client drop off, I think 12 or 20 earrings, right, and I had to focus stack them all. And they said...
Sorry, just to interrupt. Can you explain what focus stacking is? Because my mum will be like, I don't know what that is.
Yes. Focus stacking is where you have to shoot something that's... Well, basically, focus stacking is making sure whatever you have photographed is sharp from front to back, and it's normally done by combining a series of pictures at different focal points through the image. So, if you focus on the front of the product, the back of it's very soft. If you focus on the back, the front's very soft, so it's getting the entire product in focus, aided through software that merges it all together. I hope that makes sense. So when I have a deadline, I'm absolutely lightning fast because they said, sorry to do this, but we need to pick these up at 2:00 because they need to go to a shoot in France. So like 20, I think it was 20. I know that sounds like a lot to do. Was it 20 or 12? There was a lot of them anyway, and I had to focus stack them all and get it done. But I got it done in like 6 hours. I didn't move. I didn't breathe or anything. I just got it done quickly. But yeah, if they were like, oh, well, we only need them next week, I'd have been like 3 a day.
Yeah. Spread that earring hell out.
Well, that's it. You say that, but it's just when you break down what you've earned per hour, it's not good.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, though, isn't it? It's like if it's an 8-hour job and you drag it over and you think, your hourly earnings go down. I mean, you still get the same amount, but in that time is where you should be finding more work, or resting.
Yeah, or resting. Yeah, resting for sure. I've got another little question for you. What's your favourite thing to shoot?
My favourite thing to shoot, I like technical stuff. I like tricky stuff that's hard to shoot. Sorry, my Alexa's just kicking off. It's gone off. I like tricky stuff to shoot because it's quite technical, and I like the sort of problem-solving elements of it. Again, not... The worst thing is when someone doesn't realise how long something's going to take to shoot, and they're like, oh, you like... I use this example, a chrome toaster, for example, because it's curved chrome, trying to get all the surfaces, high gloss, reflective surfaces. I like shooting stuff like that because it's a bit of a challenge to do, but then I also like easy stuff, matte stuff to shoot where it's, you can just fly through them. But favourite stuff to shoot is probably tricky stuff where it's a bit more technical.
Yeah,
I'd say that. I don't actually specific wise. I don't know. I like shooting food because you get to eat it, but you also do that thing of when you shoot the food, you kind of once you work around it all day, you don't really get hungry. You'll know what I mean. Yeah. When you're on set and there's food everywhere. I know some people graze all day, but I like when I'm working with it, it just doesn't become food. It's weird.
Yeah, it almost becomes the product itself, doesn't it?
And it might have been manhandled as well.
Oh yeah,
Fettled.
The amount of turkeys I've seen that have been manhandled, like painted with Marmite and then put back in the freezer.
Oh yeah, look,
it's just
very golden looking.
Good. Not good.
No. Yeah.
Good at all.
I shot for a confectionery brand a long time ago. We shot loads of sweets, and they were all handled and laid out and made into gifts, and then they asked for them back at the end.
Oh.
And I don't know what they were for. I think they were for like the lobby in their head office, so they can pour them all into a big thing just as a showpiece.
Yeah.
But I hope they weren't put back in any containers.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine? Oh.
I've not shot for them for 6 years, so it's fine.
Yeah. It's a bit stuff like that. I'm always like, right, we'll bin it because you've manhandled it, thrown it on set or whatever.
Some stuff's alright to eat. I don't mind eating stuff I know if another person who's manhandled it. It's more when it's been through a team of people. Yeah.
And I've definitely seen stuff that is cooked for show, not to eat.
Yeah, totally.
So it's just cooked, say the skin of the turkey, or
a rotisserie chicken where they just get make it. Yeah. I've seen someone do a skin transplant on a rotisserie chicken before. The client would have a more golden skin on it, and he took the skin off. It was tucking it under and pinning it in. I was like,
yeah, I've seen a food deck that I've worked with previously, I've seen him use T-pins, so the really big pins, and pin a chicken back together.
There's something for the CV in it.
Yeah, and you know when you're like, I don't want those T-pins back, hun, you can keep them.
It's all part of the job. But yeah, oh dear.
Yeah, that's a weird, like, that's a job, a unique job within itself. The amount of things you see when it comes to food deck and like
painting lines in the steak and stuff.
Oh yeah, Jesus, the stuff they can do is insane. Again, I admire them the same as retouchers. Like, it's stuff that I can't do.
Yeah, same. I mean, anyone who's good with food and like with food styling, it is very, very difficult.
Yeah, and when somebody goes, "Oh, can you just make some drinks in these?" and you're like, "But it's not just like, I need shaving foam for the cream, and like these are only like little things that I know from being asked, but you need like a food deck on stuff to make it look good."
Yeah, it goes past the point of just like cooking something and sort of like making it. Yeah, there's a lot more to it, isn't there? But yeah, it's like if I ever get anyone ask me, can they get some food props in there? I'm just like, Becky.
Yeah, to be fair, your wife is a very, very good cook.
She is a very good cook. I just bribe her. I just say, I'll buy as a takeaway. I'll get you a game. I've done that before. I paid her to steam for me before, which is quite funny.
Have you?
I'm like, you've not done the back.
Whipping her back into shape. Come on.
They call yourself a stylist. Oh. But yeah, bless her. She's a good egg. It's when I've been in a rush before and she's like, do you want me to help steam? And I'm like, she's the best. She's the best.
Oh, I love that.
She's retouched me before as well. Well, I use retouch very, very loosely. She's clone healed for me before, like stamped.
Oh, bless her.
She was watching me do it and she was like, don't take this bad, but I know this is only like spot removal and dust removal. She's like, do you just click on the dust? And I was like, well, yeah, kind of, yeah. And you just use these to make the tool bigger or smaller. And she went, can I have a go? And she just sat there. I watched her do it and stuff, and she just retouched, and then she like commands Z if anything went wrong. But yeah, she did good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's decent.
I suppose though, like you both like your video games and stuff, so retouch isn't going to be too far.
Well, it is for me. I think it's tedious, but she's not done it before, so it was she said it was quite relaxing to do. So I was like, I can set you up. Can get you 50 garments done. So I can do 50 garments, and then tell me how therapeutic it is. Someone who's a proper retoucher who's done 20,000 garments, and I don't envy it.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a do cool. Like, you see some retouch though where it's really creative retouch, and that's incredible. But do you know where it's like, like fashion e-com, it's like, it's tedious.
Yeah, I feel like what people don't realise when you go freelance as well, a lot of our work is e-com.
Yeah, a big portion of it. It's the bread and butter, as people say.
Yeah. And people go like, well, I'm going freelance and it will all be creative stuff, and it's like, good luck. Yeah. Because it'll probably be one a month that's creative.
Yeah, that's it, you'll get them, but if it's, sometimes it can be far and few between, and it is all the e-com stuff that takes you through the quiet months and stuff. Yeah.
It's what pays, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And, if it's like, it's the bulk of the days you get as well.
Yeah.
That's, I think, my longest booking for, like, it was 9 months, and that was all mostly cut out. A little bit of set stuff, but not mega creative, like a bit of in situ and stuff, but that bulk of that was white background.
Yeah, and I'd actually go as far as saying that some set stuff isn't as creative as what people think, because you are stuck to a brief.
Yeah, you're very, very sometimes you're very within very strict parameters of what you can actually be creative in. It's like you can be as creative as you want as long as the props are still gold or silver.
Yeah.
And aren't any of these 5 things we've already said we don't like, even though you're the stylist.
Yeah. You often get quite a few guidelines, I guess. And then sometimes you'll put something in and I remember doing this actually not so long ago. I put some, or styling some cat bits, like cat toys, and it was like a scratcher type thing.
Yeah.
And I put like a plant coming in just to give it a bit of balance.
And a bit of greenery is always nice as well, isn't it? Yeah.
A bit of greenery, yeah. And I was like, I'm sure that's pet safe. And then, actually 2 weeks later, somebody came back and was like, can't have the green plant in it because it's not pet safe. They don't want to advertise plants with cat stuff. And I was like, that's fair, but
it's like sometimes we can't put a candle on anything that's like not a hard surface.
Yeah.
Because I've done, even for a prop, I've done that before where, you know, you put like a candle in a candle holder on a blanket or on a bit of something, and it's, everyone in the office is like, no, someone will do that at home and set their house on fire.
Yeah. We had, there was one place that I worked where you couldn't put a blanket throw on a sofa because they were like, it's a fire risk. And I did not understand how a sofa's going to set fire to a blanket or vice versa.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, weird. But, I mean, it's just the rules of, like you say, they think somebody's going to do...
It's one of them, and it's... someone might, you never know.
Yeah, I always think as well, like, generally, people can be quite stupid. They see stuff that we've shot and then go, oh, well, I'll do that. And then, you know, set fire to themselves with a blanket on the sofa.
Or you get a very overly ambitious brief where it's like, who's drawn this? Like, this just isn't possible. I don't know if you remember working to layouts.
Oh,
like drawn layouts, and they're like, how the hell do you think this will fit in here?
Yeah.
That was always good fun.
That's quite hard to make it like a puzzle, like make it fit compositionally.
Perspective-wise. I remember one time I sent a picture off to someone and it was an array of lampshades, but because of the way the crop worked, we had to have one in the background, and they were like, why is the one in the back smaller? I just didn't know what to... So someone suggested I send them that clip on Father Ted where it was like, these cows here, Dougal, these are close, but those are very far away. But no, we did obviously didn't do that because keep the client. But that's what I mean. Some people genuinely don't like know stuff like that because it was a genuine question as well. They might have thought they'd sent the wrong size product, but you know, sometimes you think, how do I explain this without sounding like a knob?
Like a dickhead.
It's like, it's smaller because it's further away. It's like, put your hand in front of your face and move it slowly away.
And also sometimes then you'll send a picture of like the setup, so it'll be loads of like stands, I imagine, with stuff like that. The stands
like, can we have the stands out of the shot? And I just want to bang my head into the floor, like.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm just showing you because I just need to see the placement all right, and then we'll crop this out. It's fine.
So
but then
if you send the pins off the side of the set, they were never a prop.
That's actually happened to me, before, where I've done a whole setup, and it was like Harry Potter themed, and as we were breaking the set back down, so taking a shot, removing some product, taking another shot, I realised I'd left my pins on set for the whole thing. Thankfully, the photographer was like, I'll just like retouch it out, but like it's just a massive stack of pins, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, I've done them before where I've actually... Obviously, when you freelance, like, you go to different studios and you expect, like, a certain level of, like, stuff to be done. You kind of think it's the norm, and you go to enough places to realise it normally is the norm. But I worked at a couple of places where, like, their retouch team, or not even the retouch team, I think it's actually, like, more like art department kind who put, like, layouts together and stuff. Like, I was just told, like, oh, send them through, they'll get rid of it, they'll crop it out. So I was sending full images through. So when you work to a crop, but you send the full picture and they put the crop back on.
Yeah.
So they sent, like, the designers were, like, sending images back to everyone, like, the group chat, oh, look how great this looks. And there's polyboards in it. And they were, like, polyboards and stands, and I was like, you do know then that's not the shot. Like, why have I sent the shot off for approval for them to be like, well, I'll just do what I want, like... But I had to, like, go through loads of stuff and, like, there's a polyboard there, there's black cloth there... There's a bit of fishing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's all stuff like fishing line's fair, to be fair, because that's very, very hard to miss. But do you know when polyboards make it into the shot and someone's already approved the final image, and it's like, how's that happened? But anyway, not my problem.
But I mean, maybe they were trying to be like cool, like these, like ASOS or something. And
include the fire exit in the back and all that. Yeah.
And everyone's sitting there having a brew. Just doesn't make sense, but it looks cool, I guess.
Yeah, some stuff does that, like some fashion stuff does where they leave like C stands in, but the nice metal C stands like that works, and it's on a white wall. But
they've not been dragged around the studio for 25 years.
I've got loads of old manky tape on it.
Like
most stands do.
I always try and remember to take my tape off though, because Gorilla Tape's a right twat to get back off.
I know that's a thing in it, but I'm not bothered on my kicks. It's just me who deals with it.
Yeah, but especially when it's like when you're sharing kit, I think that can be quite
Yeah, it's just when stuff doesn't pack away properly.
Yeah, and you're like trying to kick it in the van, like, come on, get back in the van. And it's not going down because there's a metre of fucking Gorilla Tape on it.
Oh, it never goes. Oh, whenever I pack down for a job, it never goes back in the car as it did. It goes in really neat, but at the end of the job, I'm like, just fucking shove it in, go. People always ask me at the end of the job, they're dead sweet, like, can I help you with any kit? And I'm like, do not touch anything. I'm like, you can carry this reflector and a tripod, but everyone always goes for my camera case and my laptop bag. I'm like, if you drop that bag, everything's gone. Well, it's not, because I've already backed it up on another drive, but, people always go for the most expensive cases, and I'm like, haha, no, it's mine, get off.
Yeah. I think that's different if it's studio kit and it's not your own personal kit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I still treat it, proper, but, yeah. Couple more bangs and things, it's fine.
Yeah, the amount of camera bags I pick up, and like when we're packing down, you're on location, you're packing stuff back in the van, I'll happily put C-stands in that bag, but like
just throw them in.
The lights that are in backpacks, you can just pick them up quite easily.
Oh yeah.
Right, I sling like 5 backpacks on, and I bet that's what it is, because they look at it and they're like, I can pick that up, that's a backpack. They look at a C-stand and they're like, nah. No, man.
No, but yeah, my stuff never goes away properly. But that's like the thing is, you've got to get all the stuff there, unpack it all, do the job, pack it all away, go back. It is tiring. Again, my wife very, very kindly helps me with my kit when I get back in, because I'm normally absolutely shattered.
Oh,
she's a good egg. So it's easier.
You put her to work.
Well, I do. Yeah, I do. I do treat her when I can. But I just need to get her retouching more, because that'll be a help.
Yeah, just be like, Becky, flutter your eyelashes, mate.
Get clicking.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it has been an absolute joy to chat to you today, George.
Yeah, it's been grand. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been lovely. I feel like we've put the world to rights.
We've sorted all the problems out. Everyone's going to get paid on time, and we know a bit more about hashtags.
Yeah, and social media will be going back to pictures, because that's what we've just told the world.
I hope so. I really do hope so, because I hate doing video.
Yeah, me too. And even like the stories, I'm like, oh.
Well, that's the thing with the lives. I can sit there for 4 hours and just chat shit into a camera, but when I have to make a 30-second to camera piece where I'm explaining something, never do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for having me anyway, Charlotte. It's been a pleasure.
That's all right. It's been lovely speaking to you. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate, follow and share, as it really helps this little podcast out. And if you have found value in the podcast and you have the means to, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. This will help keep the podcast going. Join me next week for another fantastic guest. Bye!